landmark ruling overturning more than 40 years of legal precedent. The Supreme Court's conservative majority is striking down affirmative action policies at Harvard College and the University of North Carolina. The 6-3 ruling effectively ends race as a consideration in college admissions nationwide.
Discrimination still exists in America. We cannot let this decision be the last word.
President Joe Biden slammed today's Supreme Court decision, which struck down affirmative action admissions policies in higher education. Biden's urging colleges and universities not to abandon their pursuit of greater diversity on campus.
What I propose for consideration is a new standard, where colleges take into account the adversity a student has overcome when selecting among qualified applicants.
The Supreme Court heard 2 cases challenging the admissions policies at Harvard and the University of North Carolina. The High Court's conservative majority ruled 6-3 to end the use of race as a factor in college admissions. Chief Justice John Roberts writing the majority opinion, saying both schools violated the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment and therefore must be invalidated. In a fiery dissent, Justice Sonia Sotomayor wrote, "This decision rolls back decades of precedent and momentous progress."
You're not allowed to include race, which is such an encompassing part of at least my identity as an underrepresented minority. It makes me feel upset.
Roberts clarified that students could still include their experiences about race in admission essays, but schools couldn't use those essays to circumvent today's ruling, saying, quote, "Universities may not simply establish through application essays the regime we hold unlawful."
Now we look at the individual student and what they've accomplished, and we can look at what barriers they've overcome.
Ed Bloom, who represented the conservative advocacy group seeking to overturn affirmative action, argued before the justices that the 2 schools discriminated against Asian American applicants. Both institutions denied the allegations. And at the end of his address, President Biden responded to a question about whether this Supreme Court has legitimacy. He answered, quote, "This is not a normal court." You can look for complete coverage of the ruling at the national level on ABC News with David Muir at 5:30. So how does this ruling affect us here in El Paso? ABC 7's Liloba Tiziro spoke with higher education leaders and is live in the studio with some insight. Liloba.
Yeah, Stephanie, if you look at a university like UTEP, the bulk of our students here come from El Paso County, which is already largely diverse as a Mexican-American community. So really, we're not going to see that big of a shift here. But according to Dr. Pineda of UTEP, the flagships of UT Austin and Texas A&M may see a change. Now, Dr. Pineda, he said they may have to find other ways to enhance students' applications, like maybe turning to things like geographical diversity. That's like when you say, well, people from certain counties, they're not showing up at the institution, and then hopefully using that to help boost their students' application. Dr. Pineda said that will unfortunately, it'll be the reality for any of our students here in El Paso trying to get into those top tier or Ivy League universities. He said this decision will definitely make things harder for them.
I think it's very easy to say all students are equal when they come into the institutions and we should view them that way. But we know from historic data that that's not true, that minority communities in particular don't have the educational infrastructure that prepares students. And so the reason that you provide these kinds of extra points is to make up for that difference. And I think a lot of times, and I think this is the sort of conventional wisdom, is affirmative action is seen somehow as like a freebie or an extra, and that's not the case. I mean, it's really intended to be more of an equalizer.
Yeah, now coming up at 6 o'clock, you're going to hear from a local student who just graduated from Northwest Early College High School, pardon me. She's college bound, and she shared with me what this ruling means to her as a minority student. Liloba Tiziro, ABC 7.
All right, Liloba, thank you.